Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, The Truth Hurts. I hope you guys are okay today. Okay, so today, just excuse my nose, excuse everything, because woo, the hay fever, man. The hay fever is just it's just not doing too well. Okay, so yeah, I'm like sniffly every 5 minutes. Like, I'm always sniffly, but I'm like sniffly. Okay, so my apologies in advance. Okay, but today I wanted to talk about relationships, partnerships, and marriages. Okay, and why I kind of feel like it's not really a thing, in the sense that, like, not many people in this day and age, sorry, I just need to kind of like put some product in my hair and stuff, that I feel like it's not really like a people don't really want to get married anymore. People don't want to be in relationships anymore. Relationships don't last. And it's kind of like, well, why is that? Why is it that people are not staying together? Why is it that it's harder to find someone to date? It's harder to find and to be fair, I don't feel like it's hard to find people to date. I feel like it's hard for things to last, okay? And this could have something to do with, like, I mean, I made a video before about if you are attractive and single, but this is not really about attraction per se, because the foundation of this video is a bit different. We're not just talking about, you know, because there's not just attractive people that are single. There's many different types of people that are single that want to date and they can't date, and it's not for those reasons, okay? But I'm going to touch on some of the things that I touched on in that video, just in case any of you have watched that video, okay? But, and also some of the things I said about being like independent, an independent woman, and why that's a threat. So again, if you haven't watched those videos, you may want to go back. But oh god, it's so hot, man. It's just the heat, everything. Sorry guys, I'm just like, you know what I mean? You know, when I prepared to talk about this and I'm like, yo, woo, honestly, I'm so hot. But yeah, so let's just get into it, guys. My apologies, people. I'm all over the place, darling. I'm all over the place. Honestly, I got fucking gel on my arm. Like, what is happening? But anyway, God, honestly, I just look like if I look like I'm sweating, it's because I am, okay? Let's just get that out there, okay? It's fucking hot. But so now I feel like the main reason, okay, is the word freedom. Okay? We are in, like, as soon as the age of Aquarius came in, this is the day and age where people want to express their individuality. People want to be free. People don't want to feel restricted. And I feel like in relationships and in marriages especially, is that people feel restricted. Now, I'm not saying all, because there are people that are happily married. There are people that are in long commitments. And, you know, I'm somebody where I advocate for true love and partnership and commitment, because I feel like when you find somebody who you adore and you can spend the rest of your life with that person, and that person truly makes you happy, they uplift you, they support you, and vice versa, I think that is a beautiful thing. Like, I love to see couples. I love it when I see people holding hands as well. I just think that's so adorable. So I'm not somebody here like to bash people who are in committed relationships or solid foundations or have found the love of their life. I think that is really beautiful. And I do have a video on this channel that I always talk about called why people are afraid of love. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of. So, you know, before, you know, the marital police wants to come at me, I am not saying anything against people who are in committed marriages and unions. I think it's beautiful. I'm talking about why I feel like it's harder in this day and age for people to find solid commitments and to last, and why people are always going from relationship to relationship. And like I said, I feel like it's because back in the days, I feel like a lot of people married out of pressure, security, culture, you know, to keep up appearances with the family. I don't feel like a lot of people married back in the day for love. And I feel like that is the reason as to why, like, you know, when you see like your grandparents or just older people and it's like they've stayed together for like 40, 50, 60, 70 years and you just think, wow, it's hard to see that these days. Like people can't stay in a relationship or stand each other for like 2 minutes, let alone a fucking whole lifetime or whatnot. And I think it's because back in the day, you know, there was less rights when it came to like women in general. Therefore, there was less, people were less independent, that codependency was a thing. And so I feel like because women have more rights now, they are free to work and do whatever they have to do. And there's not this kind of like codependent energy where it's like you need to rely on somebody to provide for you, or you're basically, your life's going to go to shits. People are happy with their freedom. Also, there's a lot of women out here that are extremely creative, and so our creativity is very fundamental and helpful in the sorry, something's in my eye. I just feel so hot and irritated. A woman's input is necessary, basically, and you know, our contributions to society, to the world, our opinions, everything. And so it's like, once you get a taste of freedom, you kind of think to yourself, well, do I really want to be restricted at home all day just popping out kids? You know, and, you know, some women, you know, they work and they have children. There's a lot of women that are single parents as well. And I feel like that's another thing, is that women, there's not enough men that want to actually be providers. Like, not enough people go into like relationships or partnerships actually planning for the future. People just get together and they fuck and they have babies and like, oh my goodness, it's really expensive, or the kids are driving me crazy, or I didn't really think about this. There's not enough things are planned out. I feel like back in the day, things were more orchestrated. It was like, this is what's going to happen. This is the role that you play. And I feel like back in those times, I feel like because women were more restricted, they were more forgiving, because it was kind of like, well, if your partner does go out and cheat and do all of those things, first of all, technology wasn't a thing. So it was like people got away with having affairs and doing things because it wasn't as easy to find out. So there's that. And even if something was to, you know, be found out or whatnot, because women didn't have rights, they couldn't work or whatever, you know, the whole marital laws you must obey or whatnot, it's kind of like, what could a woman really do? I mean, like, I remember not too long ago, this is about 10 years ago, I mean, it's quite a while ago, I had a friend, and it was a really sad story actually. He had a massive fucking house, like it was like almost like a mansion, right? And his mom was in and out of hospital and she was very sick. And the day that she came home from hospital, they were Muslim. The day that she came home from hospital, she went to go into her house and the doors, the locks had changed. And she saw her husband with a younger woman in the window just kind of just waving. And that was that. She was homeless with her 2 children. There was no talk of, you know, we're divorcing. Because, you know, I think in the Muslim culture now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know, but my friend told me that like they just say something and then they're just divorced. It's not like how we do it in like England or whatnot with the marital papers or whatnot. So he said that his dad said something in Arabic or something and it meant that they were divorced. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he told me. But his mom came home one day. He went to go pick his mom up from the hospital and they came home and they were locked out of the house. That his dad didn't tell him that this is what he was going to do. She had no idea who this woman was looking back at her, and they had to find somewhere to stay. And because she was codependent on him, like he paid all the bills, he done everything. And you know, especially like when it comes to the Muslim culture, I know that a lot of them, they're not allowed to kind of do anything apart from what their husband tells them to do. Like when I was doing my course last year, I was doing a mentor course, and my teacher was telling me that a lot of the women that were like Muslim, they would come in like under different names, or they would like be really, they would tell their teachers like, my husband doesn't know that I'm here, like how long is the course for, because they wanted to gain some type of qualification so that if they had to flee or whatnot, they could, but they had to do it behind their husband's back when their husband was at work. So and that was a prime example in that situation, like with my friend, because I was like, whoa, like that woman has no education. She has no money. Everything is in his name. And she just came home one day. It's not like they had an argument or nothing. This woman was sick in the hospital and she came home and the man had changed the locks. I brought a new woman in the house and that was that. He didn't give a fuck about his kids or his wife. Nothing. And I was like, this is the thing. It's like, this is why I feel like independence is so important. And it's not about like, women don't need no man. Or da-da-da. It's just that this is how this day and age is. People are fucked the fuck up. Like, guys don't be giving a fuck. No warning, no nothing. They know that you can't do shit unless obviously like you have the proper paperwork to marry someone and you want to take them to court. And even with that, you have to pay to divorce someone. You also have to they have to agree to divorce you. It has to be a mutual agreement. So if your partner doesn't want to sign the divorce papers, you know what I mean? You're going to be legally married, or maybe you both want to get divorced, but you can't afford to get divorced. But everything is under your name and da-da-da, because, marriage is basically a financial contract, and you are like signing yourself away to someone and you're having to obey this person. If this person treats you like absolute shit, you can't just walk away because you're married. So it's not like in a relationship where like if someone's treating you like shit, you can just ghost them and not speak to them and that's that. When it's marriage, it's a different type of thing. So I feel like nowadays, because we're smarter and we're more free and we want to express our individuality, just as people in general, whether it's men or women, we think more. It's kind of like, okay, why am I going to get married to you? I understand the fundamentals of marriage. I understand what I'm going to have to give up. Also, what if I don't want to be with you anymore? How are you going to handle that? How are you going to behave? Because there is a saying that I always go by that says, see me, come live with me. And a lot of the times when you are with someone and when you live with them, it's two different ball games. Again, this goes back to another point I was going to make about back in the day. When people was married back in the day, a lot of the times it wasn't kind of like, let's get to know each other and this, that, and the third. It was more like, oh, you're nice, I'm nice, let's get together. Or maybe somebody had a baby out of wedlock and they had no choice but to kind of get married. So a lot of the times they're not really getting to know each other. And like I said, after you marry someone, they can completely change, but you have to put up with them. Back in the day, it was more like, I have to put up with you. And a lot of the times, people who were married for years and years and years, it doesn't mean because 12, as I said that, it doesn't mean because somebody was married for 20 or 30 years that they were happy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I feel like in this day and age, we are making choices to be happy. We are practicing self-love. We don't want to be somebody's slave. We don't want to, have to cook and clean and obey. We're not dogs and we're not children. Again, I made these points in that other video, The Independent Woman. Why is she a threat? Go and watch it, okay? We want some equilibrium. And I feel like people want to be in love. Like I said, I don't feel like back in the day, a lot of people got married for love. I feel like they got married for security. And like I said, in this day and age, you can have a baby with someone. They can decide that they don't want to be with you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have nothing to do with the baby. And it's like, okay, hold on a minute now. So it's so funny because like when people are like to me, oh my God, you're in your 30s, you're not married, you don't have kids. I'm like, yes. And I'm having a great time because first of all, when I was 15, my brother was born and my adolescence period went to raising my brother. So I feel like I already was a mother. You know what I mean? Like I was, every time I went to like my cousin's or my auntie's house, I was always like raising the fucking little kids while the adults were out raving and doing whatever they were doing. So like, and I've worked with children. So it's like, I need a break. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know what it's like to push a baby outside of my vajayjay. But I know what it means to have to give up your time, your energy for a child, for have to always put them first, the financial strain, the mental strain. I understand it. Even to this day, I'm still kind of parenting my brother. Like my mom will still call me and said, oh, Kyra, such and such, he listens to you. Because, it's almost like I'm his like second mother. But it's like after being around children, especially at a young age, it kind of, when you gain that experience, it's like, do I really want this for myself? Like, who told me that I wanted to be a mother and a child? Was it society? Was I just programmed to believe that? Because when you're a child, they're already marketing, like little children will walk around with prams and buggies and like little babies. And I kind of feel like that's strange. Like, why is a little child, why are their children's toys babies and little buggies and little prams? And then like little Barbies I think is okay and little dollies, but I'm talking about like babies and shit. Like, why is a baby looking after a baby? It's all programming. That's why there's so much young people these days that are just having kids. But like people are having children and they don't have any parenting skills. They're not mentally prepared already for having a child. And in this day and age where it's all technology, most people's kids nowadays are being raised by technology. You've got kids that have got like fucking, they're like under 10 years old with iPads and iPhones. Do you think I want to have a child that has got an iPad and an iPhone when I grew up in the 90s? You must have mad. You know, my child, I want them to be outside playing in the grass, playing in the park, and playing Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Who knows about Bloody Raw 2, man? That was a game. And I swear to God, back in the day, right, I used to go to my cousin's house and play that all the time. And one day the game went missing. And to this day, I'm still butthurt about that, because I'm just like, where did the game go? Like, we lost the game. They couldn't explain to me where the game went. I wouldn't even be surprised if my cousin like hid it on purpose, because she was a little bitch. But anyway, we're not going to get into that, okay? But basically, yeah, it's like children are being raised on the computer. Like, I know this man, his daughter wasn't going to proper school. She was doing her classes online. And I was like, this is not normal. Like, you're allowing your child to be raised by a computer. Like, you know what I mean? And this is why there's so much people that don't have communication or social skills. So that's another thing that I wanted to go into as well, about why I feel like a lot of relationships don't last. Okay, so let's forget about the whole back in the day and being pressured and forced to be a slave to somebody when you don't really want to be, and not actually being in love, okay? Or like I said, being in that culture where it's kind of like your family just ships you off, you know, and then it's just a recycle, it's just repeat. It's like, get married, have loads of kids, repeat, get married, have loads of kids, repeat, and you don't have it, like, you can't express yourself creatively. Let's move away from that now. So we have our freedom, we're happy, we understand that, you know what, just in case a man decides to leave me, like, I've got qualifications, I can have any job that I want because I can go and study, I can earn my own money, I can get my own place, you know. So just in case a nigga decides that he doesn't want to be with me anymore, it's like, okay, well, I've got my own keys to my own place and my own bank account, so I'm good. Okay, I'm not going to be stranded, because, you know, men have no problem with leaving women in a vulnerable position. But if we're in a vulnerable position, you know what I mean? All sorts could happen. So again, it's like the protective energy is not about. I feel like that's another thing. Women are not really feeling protected by men, okay? So let's go into the communication sector now. Reasons why a lot of relationships do not last. People don't know how to communicate. People are, a lot of people have, you know, I always speak about this, inner child wounds. They have a lot of things wrong with them, whether it's psychologically, whether it's trauma, whether it's something to do with, like, you know, that they suffered from a young child or whatnot. So because a lot of people, they don't know how to communicate properly, what tends to happen is when you're in a relationship, rather than your partner expressing what is wrong with them, they have so much pride and they will either terminate the relationship, or they will go and cheat, or they will go and find other, even if they don't cheat or sleep with someone, they will find other people to talk to. And don't you think that's crazy that you could be in a connection with someone, and rather than your partner talking to you and expressing to you how they feel, every other bitch will know your business but you. And it's like, how is it that you can talk to 10 other bitches about what's going on, but you can't talk to me? Know what I mean? But that's what happens. People don't know how to communicate with each other. I don't feel like they don't know how to. People just choose not to. People are afraid of hurting their partner's feelings. And the way I see it is, why are you in a relationship with somebody that you are afraid of? If you can't confidently talk to me and tell me how you're feeling, why are we together? If I can't tell you how I'm feeling, why are we together? What is the bond that put us together? That's what I want to know. Why are there so much people who are adults, but they communicate like children? They have tantrums. What is that about? So I feel like that's a lot of the times why relationships don't last, because people, and you know, I used to say that communication is key, but I feel like comprehension is key, because you can communicate to someone all day, every day, back and forth, but if they don't understand what the fuck you're saying, you may as well be talking to a brick wall. You may as well be talking to a baby. I feel like you'll get more like response from a baby. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what it is. People are afraid to communicate with their partners. And I think a lot of the times, the reason why people are afraid to communicate to their partners is because, excuse me, when they went in the relationship in the first place, they went in hiding things about themselves, pretending who they were. And so what happens is when it's time to communicate certain things, it's kind of like, well, I can't tell her, I can't tell him this, that, and the third because they think that I'm like this or they think that I'm like that and da-da-da. So really it's about you're afraid to reveal your true character, but it comes out anyway. And that's another thing. When people get to know each other, they pretend. I don't understand that. Like I always say, honesty is the best policy. Like why are you pretending to be something that you're not to get me to like you? Because later on down the line, we're going to break up for the exact reason that I find out that I don't fucking like you. You know what I mean? It's like saying to someone, oh God, I love rom-coms. And oh my God, I love rom-coms too, just to impress someone. So I feel like you like rom-coms. And now we're sitting down every day watching rom-coms. But in your mind, you're going fucking insane because you hate fucking rom-coms. You love horror movies. And then so one day you just lash out on me or whatnot because you're like, I'm so fucking sick of the rom-coms. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, so who are you? You told me this was your favorite thing. So it's like this whole time I was with you and we were watching rom-coms and you were pretending what? Because you just wanted to fuck? And this goes back to my other video I done the other day about like the whole thing about sex. Because that's another thing. People will get together and they will have this sexual bond and this sexual experience. And it's like, okay, let's be together. But who are you really though? Because, okay, the sex is good, but what's your mentality saying? What's your brain saying? What are you like when you're angry, when you're moody, when you're upset, when you're happy? Like, how do you communicate when something doesn't go your way? Like, what's your shadow side saying? You know what I mean? Like, people don't get to know each other. They get to know each other's bodies and they think that that's it. And they get very possessive and controlling over the lower regions. But nobody's possessive and controlling over the upper regions. Okay? People just want you to look good and to fuck and that's it. That's not the day and age that we're in anymore. I feel like you should healthily be able to talk and express things to your partner because especially if you want a lifetime partnership with someone, I want to speak to someone who I can laugh with, joke with, cry with, everything with. I don't want to feel like I have to hide parts of myself with my own partner and then just distribute other parts with friends and other people that shouldn't be in my business. You know what I mean? So again, I feel like it's a communication thing. I feel like people get together because of attraction and not anything else really. And that's why it doesn't last long down the line because then you find out about people and you're just like, okay, this person is a bit of a psychopath. Like, also again, people are very selfish. So there's that. It's like people want to be in partnerships, but say like you have an idea of what your life is like and a picture of who you want to be in it. And then you find someone, you're like, yeah, you fit into my life. It's kind of like, but does that person want to be a part of your destiny though? It's kind of like if you have dreams and goals and aspirations, like you could be sitting down to a guy and getting to know him. You tell him all your goals and all your dreams and all your aspirations. His goals and his dreams and his aspirations are on a completely different spectrum. But he likes you. He likes the way that you look. So now he's going to try to manipulate you to be with him and then mold you into his world. But it's like, but bitch, I said that that's not what I wanted to do. And like I said, back in the day, that used to work because guys would throw money at women and do whatever. And women would be like, oh my goodness. But that's not the day. It's like, that's not what it is in this day and age with the smart people anyway. My whole thing is like, you can offer me like £1 million. If you're not mentally stable, if you're not a nice person, if I don't actually like you, what's that milli doing for me? Because if anything, I'm going to spend that $1 million to go on holidays and be away the fuck from you. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go invest it in somewhere. You'll probably never hear from me again. Because I can't be with someone that I don't fucking like. Just because they have money. Like, I have to be able to... I don't want to have to tolerate. Because I was about to say I have to be able to tolerate you. But I don't want to have to be in a relationship where I feel like I have to tolerate this person. And also, again, like, it's the whole, like, obsessive thing. It's like, I feel like a lot of, it depends on what type of energy you have. But in my experience, I tend to attract people that get really possessive over me. And I just don't understand why. Because I'm a good girl. I be at home. I don't be doing shit. I'm a homebody. I don't like talking to people. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and when I'm in love, it's like, that is, the person who I'm in love with is all that I fucking see. Even when I'm single, like, people be trying to talk to me on the street, I got a boyfriend. I don't have no boyfriend, okay? In the sky, maybe imaginary, like, my spirit guides could be my boyfriends or whatnot. But I don't be having no one. I just don't want people to talk to me. So it's like, if I can do that while I'm single, then why would I not in a relationship? But again, that goes back to my other reading when I was talking about if you're attractive and why you're single. But regardless of whether you're attractive or not, because, you know, people may think I'm ugly as fuck. I don't know. I was going to make a video about pretty privilege soon, but that's not for this video. But it's like, when you are dating someone and they have like trust issues, communication issues, or whatnot, they're always going to be projecting that onto you to the point where it's like you don't feel free in the relationship. You can't be an individual. You can't express yourself how you want to, because your partner is going to be either telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing, how you should and shouldn't be behaved, while they're doing whatever the fuck they want. I mean, let's just start there, okay? Or when you're out on the street, it's like, have you ever been like, I remember one time I was walking with this guy, right? And we wasn't even together like that. I was kind of getting to know him, and he kept putting his hand like around my waist every time like a guy walked past or whatnot. And it was making me really uncomfortable, because I was like, we're not even together and you're already like grabbing me up. So imagine, I could already tell that he was very possessive. And I just thought, I've already dealt with possessive people, and I cannot. I mean, I don't mind little possessive and little jealousy. Like, I think it's kind of sexy, but not to the point where it's like when it's just too much. You know what I mean? Where you feel like you can't go anywhere. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll come and meet you. No, I'll come and get you. Oh, I'm going to the shop. I'll come with you. It's just like you're afraid to let me walk on the street by myself. Like, I'm a grown fucking adult. But again, I like the fact that men they want to be chivalrous and they want to take care of you and they want you to be safe. But there's like, balance to me is key, because a lot of the times, especially in my experiences, men like treat me like I'm a child, and I don't like that. They treat me like I'm a child that needs to be tamed, and it's like, if I was wild and rebellious, I would understand that, but I'm not. So what is the issue here? You have some issues that you need to deal with, and projecting them onto me is not going to help you deal with those issues. And yeah, so there's that. I just feel like people don't know how to interact with each other, and I feel like this day and age, especially with the AI and the all of this technology, it desensitizes people. So people are not as empathetic with one another. Therefore, they don't really care about how they're making another person feel. And I feel like in a relationship, that is fundamental. You need to be empathetic. You need to be emotional. Like, people want to be in connections with emotionally unavailable people. How and why? If you're going through something, you should be able to communicate that to your partner, and your partner should be able to comfort you. You should feel comfortable. Even if you're not somebody that likes to get emotional, and your partner can understand that, but you should be somebody who you can do whatever you want or express yourself however you want to your partner, and not be afraid that your partner is going to lash out or your partner is going to leave you. And another thing, a lot of people, they have abandonment issues and commitment issues, but then they want to be in partnerships, but then they abandon the people. And I find that really funny. Like, whatever issue someone has, they tend to project that issue. Like, what they are afraid of, they become. So it's people who are afraid of being abandoned, they always abandon people. People who are afraid of being hurt, they hurt people. People who are afraid of being abused, they abuse people. I don't really understand that. Like, if I'm afraid of something, I'm not going to become what it is that I'm afraid of. But that's what happens a lot of the time. A lot of people are in denial about their own behavior. A lot of people, like I said, they're selfish, but they want to be in a connection, in a partnership. And the partnership is two becoming one. You can't be selfish. You both have to compromise. It's like, if my partner likes something that I don't like say, I don't know, it's like a specific program, I'm gonna give them their space. You know what? Every Tuesday, babe, you can watch your weird programs, and Fridays the TV is mine. Or if they like a certain type of music that I don't like, I'll be doing something else while they're listening to it. That's compromise. I can tolerate it, but I don't have to be around when that person is enjoying whatever it is that they like to do, because I feel like it's important in relationships to have your own individual space and your own individual interests. But I don't feel like it's a thing where like you should be with someone where everything that they do you can't stand. And then this goes into like different cultures now as well, like people integrating and being interracial relationships and things like that. I don't have a problem with that. I've dated like outside of my race and stuff like that. But one thing I don't really like is like when somebody gets with someone but they don't like their culture, or they're not open to learning anything about their culture, but they want to fuck them. And I've noticed this, especially like a lot of white guys are like that in my experience. Like, they want to fuck black women, but they don't want to know about your culture, where you're from, or they feel like all black people are the same, we're all from the same place, and we're not. And there's like that underlying racism, but it's like, but you want to fuck a black woman though, or you want to be with a black woman, but you don't want to know about our culture, or you want to hold it to like the stereotypes that the media projects, but you don't actually know anything about Black people, Caribbean people, African people. You can't just differentiate between this, that, and the third. Like, you know what I mean? They don't want to learn anything about your culture, but they want to date you. It's like, I already know about your culture, and you're lucky I'm even still talking to you, type of thing. But like, you know, that's the thing. It's just like, I don't understand that. I don't understand when people, like, if I'm going to date someone, I'm going to embrace where they're from. I'm going to want to know. And also, I'm going to have to like where the fuck they're from. Because I don't want to be that person where, like, so like, for example, I've had 2 exes in, like, I'm just thinking, because my first ever, I don't even know if that really counts as my first ever boyfriend because it was in school, but he was Ghanaian. And I remember I dated, my psycho ex was from Congo, right? And I'm not African, so I've dated African guys, and Ghanaian food I like, Congolese not so much. And so I remember, apart from the fact that my ex was a psychopath, if we take away his psychopathic abusive energy and we just focus on his culture, I could not stand his food. And I remember saying to myself, like, can I really be with somebody where, like, there's just the smell of the food makes me gag? Whenever he would, like, want to cook, I would just not regret it, I would dread it. Like, if I knew he was coming to my house, I'd be like, okay, I need to think about, like, I'm going to make something, because just in case he suggests that he wants to cook. I remember one time I went to his house and his mom was making something, and I just couldn't stomach it. And I just said to myself, and our culture was so different because he was Congolese. I'm half Jamaican, half St. Lucian. And I was born in the UK. Like, his parents are very, like, you know, African cultures, they're very, like, traditional and things like that. And like I said, I love all culture. You know, I love African prints, and that's why I'm like, I was always drawn to kind of like African guys, but I did not like his food, and I didn't like the way that he behaved or how he treated women. And I remember, like, when he used to, like, abuse me, he would be like, this is what Africans do, this is what African men do. Now, I'm not saying that that's what all African people do. I'm saying that this is what an African guy that I was dating said to me, that this is what, so I'm thinking, like, okay, well, in his family, because I remember him saying to me that his auntie was in the hospital because her partner had attacked her. And I just thought, do I really want to be with someone where all the men in their family are abusive and they think that it's normal because it's a part of their culture? And I remember when I was speaking to him, one time I bumped into him last year, he was trying to get back with me. I mean, come on now. He's probably watching this right now. No. And I remember talking to him, and I said to him, like, I don't see you in the same way anymore. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. And he was, like, really, you know, irritated by what I was saying. And he was trying to justify, he was like, oh, well, when women get angry, you know, they use their words and they can make you want to hang themselves. But when men get angry, they get aggressive and they want to hit. And I was like, no, when you get angry, you want to do that. So he was trying to make it seem that, like, it was okay. Like, that's how men express themselves. When they're angry, they want to beat on a woman. No, that's what an underlying gay person does. If you're gay, you're gay. No offense. I'm talking about those macho men that like to act like they're all like, yeah. I feel like when a man is abusive towards a woman, when he's threatened by a woman, when he's in competition with a woman, he hates women. Therefore, he must be gay. And I always suspected that he was gay because, you know, he went to prison for like quite a long time in his past. So I don't know what went down when he was there, but he wasn't right when he came out. Like, he just wasn't right. And so I personally feel like he was battling with his sexuality and he was taking it out on me because he just seemed to just hate women. But it was like, but you want to be with them. Like, it just, you know, so when men start to do all of that shit and they want to argue with you and faff you about, it's doing that real pussy vibe shits to me. And then when you stand up to them, that's all you need to do. Like, I stood up to him, called the police, whatever. And after that, he changed his energy on me. But I was like, but I can't be with someone like you because you think it's normal to attack women. And you're telling me that that's a cultural thing. And I do know that that is in a lot of cultures, especially the African and the Indian culture. I know that, like, I used to know a lot of Indian women that were in relationships and their partners used to abuse them. And it was just normal. And this goes back to the whole, like, cultural thing and the being forced to be in these marriages and in these commitments and to keep up appearances. Like, everybody else on the outskirts is like, oh, so-and-so is married, or who are they got how many kids? But behind closed doors, the woman's getting abused, beaten, she's fucking miserable. Who wants to live like that? And the man's going around doing whatever he wants. So, you know, I'm trying to think why I even brought that up. Where was I going with that? Well, people are just psychopaths, okay? So it's about getting to know people, and it's about, like I said, it's that protective energy where I kind of just feel like women don't feel protected by men because, you know, you're always subject to abuse. It's like, oh, I can't communicate, so this is how I'm gonna behave, or and I feel like, you know, if somebody doesn't want to get to know you, if they don't want to give you time to kind of to see how you are, if you say to someone like, you know what, I don't really want to have sex or whatnot too early or whatnot, and they're not, like, that person is not for you. Like, I feel like it takes about 6 months to a year to really get to know somebody and their character. And if somebody's not willing to put in that work, why bother? Because people want to be with people to spend the rest of their days with. You know how long we're going to be on this earth for if you're healthy? So think about spending that many days with the same person for the rest of your life. You know, explore your options, live. If you like to be by yourself, enjoy your freedom. Because when you are with someone, a lot of your freedom gets taken away. But if you are madly in love with someone, then that's okay. And like I said, it's all about giving somebody their space. Because like I said, in my experiences, I don't know if I attract the crazies or what, but it's almost like men want to mold me into what they want me to be. It's like, oh, you can do all of these things. Okay, well, I'm not letting you go, but like, I'm going to have to like whip you into shape, or I'm going to have to like trap you in some type of way, or you're going to get married and have my babies. And it's like, why? You know, if I have all these dreams, these aspirations, and these goals, my partner should be my biggest fan and be wanting to, you know, help me. Like, even there was a guy that, like I said, that I was kind of talking to, but I wasn't really attracted to him. I remember him saying to me, he was saying like, if like I became really popular on my YouTube channel or whatnot, he was like, you know, that might make him feel some type of way. And I just thought to myself, this is the thing. I can't be with someone who's like, they're insecure of, you know, my potential success online. So that demonstrates to me that if I get with you, you're probably going to try to do something to take me away from doing what I want to do on here, or my online business, or anything else that I'm doing. And that to me is a potential red flag, because why would you feel threatened? First of all, are you gay? I mean, let's just start there, because why are you threatened by another woman's success? Not me. Or you're controlling and crazy, and I've just been down the controlling and crazy road, and I'm just not trying to go there. There needs to be an equilibrium of crazy. Like, if I'm not batshit crazy over you and you're not batshit crazy over me, then why are we doing this? Like, what's really happening? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I just feel like there's a lot of reasons as to why relationships do not last these days. And I just think because people, they want people to fill voids. People are lonely, so they don't really want to be by themselves, but then they don't like people. They don't like to communicate. They just want someone to just fuck on and boss about, or to control, or to not leave them. Like, some people are so afraid of you leaving them, so that they will create a barrier or a restriction so that you can't go. And really it's because that person is probably fucking insane and obsessive as fuck, and they know that when you find out what their true character is, you're gonna want to fucking run. So they try to trap you. You know, like my insane ex, he tried to trap me with a child. Like, are you alright? Like, normally I hear women trying to trap niggas, but like the other way around, nah. And I just thought to myself, you know what, I just must have some really good energy for somebody to want to do all of this, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't do the whole, like, I don't know, it's just overbearing for me. I just can't do the whole, like, who you looking at? Why you like, got it. I got some stories, guys. One day I'll do a whole story time on, like, all of my situations. I'll tell you about the stalking, everything, okay? That brings me on to I wanted to do a video about the baby reindeer series, because oh my goodness, everyone is talking about that, and the woman has come out, you know, and shown herself, and Piers Morgan has been saying a lot, and I really wanted to do like a video about that, because, you know, I would love to be on Piers Morgan's channel. I don't really have anything to talk about. But I would just love to be on his channel, because I don't know, I just feel like I would love to have a debate with him about something. Honestly, I really would. But anyway, so yeah, so in terms of relationships, and, you know, I just feel like it's hard. And then, you know, in terms of like availability and freedom, then we have, like, you know, the dating apps, the social networks, we got whores out here. And then, like, people, like I said, they don't appreciate love and union. People are very lustful, so people's heads are easily turned. You can't communicate with your partner. You see a pretty girl or see a pretty guy, you're talking to them rather than just thinking, well, I've got something beautiful at home, let me just work this shit out. And also, people don't leave when they're not happy. Now again, that could just be because of restriction, because your partner won't let you leave, or because of codependency. So I always say that I would rather be alone than be in bad company. I can't stay with someone if I'm truly not happy and I'm going insane. Like, I just couldn't do that. Because who wants to be with someone and be miserable? You know? And maybe sometimes you could be with someone, but if the person is suffering from depression or something, then you're not going to be happy in the relationship, because that person's got their own issues and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to see anyone. You can't do anything so it's just, it's you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like your mental health has to be stable. I feel like financially as well. Because again, people don't be planning. Like, if I'm going to have kids, I want to plan for the future. I want to say, okay, you know what? In this many years' time, I want to do this. I want to save up this much money, this, that, and the third. What is politics saying within the next few years? What is society saying within the next few years? What's the next thing going to be in the next few years? Do I want to grow my kid up here, there, or there? Like, I'm making plans. I'm talking about shit. I want to invest in this, that, and the third. I can't just be having babies and just popping them out and just going with the flow. Like, I just can't do that. And I feel like a lot of people, they just want to do that. And a lot of niggas, they want to be having babies and they don't have no money. I don't understand that. Like, how you can't even afford to take me out on a date, but you want me to have a baby? Like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? I swear to God. Like, I just don't understand. I want to make a baby out of love. I need to be madly in love with you. I always say that, like, if I can't say, like, if I have a son and I can't say, like, if you turn up to be your dad, just like your dad, I'll be proud. I shouldn't be having a kid with you. Because I don't want to be one of those mothers where I'm like, you're just like your father. You're just like your dad. You're just like, you know, that's very damaging, you know. And I see that a lot, like, with children and their parents or whatnot. The relationship's very toxic because they didn't really want to have the child in the first place. It wasn't planned. They have animosity when it comes to the partner. Then they project it onto the children. Then it's a whole negative cycle. I don't want that. I have to be mentally ready to have kids. I have to be emotionally ready. My body has to be ready. Like, I want to be able to bounce back. You know what I mean? So if I feel like that's just not for me, that's just not for me. And I don't feel like I should feel pressured to do that just because society says, or just because I have a womb where I'm able to procreate. Not every woman is supposed to be a mother. Some people are here for different things. And this is why I love astrology, learning about your chart, learning about your life path number, because you'll know whether or not you were supposed, like with me, I was a mother in my past life. My south node is Cancer. So I was a mother back then. So if I'm a mother in this lifetime, it's going to ruin my fucking life. I already know that. None of my north nodes or my Vedic or my tropical chart says that I need to be a mother. They are both north nodes of freedom. You know what I mean? So I already know for me. So whenever somebody comes into my life and they try to control me, the relationship backfires because I'm the controller. Like, people are not supposed to be controlling me or taking my power away. And that's what normally happens when I get into a relation with people. They want to suppress me of my power and of my potential. And it's not supposed to go like that. And obviously, when you are someone and say like you're dating people and they're not really into astrology, or, you know, they don't really get it, or even if they are, they try to use astrology against you. Like, I don't understand how to read my own chart. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot that goes into it. And then again, that goes to like dating. You have to make sure that somebody has the same interests as you. You can't be pretending that you like something for, like the guy who was into me, and he was like, because I liked him because he was an artist, but he would draw demons. Why the fuck are you drawing demons? A head in a head within a head within a head within a head. What is happening there? What's going on? And then when you'd ask him about it, he'd get like really defensive. So I'm just like, okay, you want to express yourself, and then when somebody asks you about your work, then you get defensive. I don't know if I really want to go down this road, darling. Because I already dated a demon, darling. I've dated several. I feel like demonic people, they just like me because, you know, I'm of the light. But I'm like, when I'm going through like your stuff and I'm seeing like pictures of demons and monsters and shit, this is just not the energy that I really want to feel like I want to spend the rest of my life with. I'm sorry, but you know, I want to know what's going on up there, and what I'm seeing right now is just, it's not quite right. I don't really want to explore that. I've got like rainbows and fairies going up in here, and you got goblins and demons. We are not the same. Okay, period. So again, it's like little things like that. Notice what people are interested in, you know, and see if that's something that you are able to handle, cope with, you know, and then if it's not, don't try to force the situation. Just because someone is attractive, they're attractive, but they're a psychopath. Am I potentially going to ruin my life because someone is attractive? Do you know how many attractive people are in the universe? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you don't have to settle. And we're not in a rush. This world is already going to shit anyway. So I feel like you should enjoy yourself, enjoy your freedom. If you are in a partnership, you know, don't stay in the partnership because you're afraid of being alone or because your person is annoying as fuck. You know, stay because you actually love the person. And you'll know if you love someone or not because you'll be able to name things about them that you love that's got nothing to do with sex or the way that they look. It's their personality. I always say that love, I feel like, is a mental connection. I feel like the outside of someone is like decoration. But, you know, getting to know somebody's mental, I think, is what is important. But yeah, there's so many reasons as to why I feel like relationships don't last. I just feel like people have commitment issues. They're afraid of getting hurt, so they hurt people. People are just monsters, and they project their monstrous behavior onto other people and wonder why we can't unify, because everybody wants love, but nobody wants to be loving. And so we are in a society of illogical, insane maniacs. I welcome love, so I'm always loving, I'm always nice, and the nicer I am to someone, the more disrespectful they are to me. And I'm like, well, do I need to start being a bitch to get what I want? And I'm just like, but that's not my character though. I'm not gonna stop being a bitch. I'm just not gonna entertain people. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Until I feel like it's something that, and you know what I mean? But I'm not even thinking about that type thing. If it comes, it comes. If it's meant to, it's meant to. But I'm not in the energy of forcing. I'm in the energy of attracting. What is meant for me is what is meant for me. And sometimes we don't have people in our lives at certain times because there's things about us that we need to work on or we need to focus on. And every time that you bring another party involved, they deter you from what it is that you are supposed to be focusing on. Like, there's so much times when I think back when I was like really popping online and really successful, especially when it came to my business, and I was getting all these offers and the BBC was asking me to go on the show and I was getting all these interviews, and I didn't have any confidence because of the people around me, family, relationships and whatnot. And then I think to myself, gosh, if I didn't give so much of my time to outside energies, like, imagine what I could have been doing. Like, you know, but then I try not to think like that because, you know, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. But I learned from my experiences, and in my experiences, what I've learned is that I'm not going to allow anybody to stop me from what I'm passionate about. And I can't be with anyone or around anyone that doesn't share the same passions that I do or is not encouraging. And so I'm only going to gravitate towards those people. You know, people who, like I said, do the same line of work as me, or people who understand what it is that I do, or people who are not, you know, afraid or ashamed. Like, for example, like when you're into tarot and spirituality, it's very hard to date because most people are not. Like, most people who are into what I'm into, they're like overseas. Like, over here, it's kind of like you're afraid to tell somebody like you like to read tarot because they'll be like, oh, you're the devil or some dumb shit. So there's that. You know, it's just kind of like, where are all the spiritual people at? You know, it's either out of London or completely out of the UK is where I connect with people. So I say to myself, maybe my person is outside of London, and you know what I mean? Maybe that's my destiny. I don't know, to be in a foreign land. And maybe that's why I can't be tied down here. And maybe that's why when I'm in connections, it doesn't work, or when I feel restricted, it backfires because I'm not supposed to have any ties in this country. That could be it. It could be something completely different. But either way, I just feel like relationships and partnerships it's difficult for them to last these days because people don't really want them to last. People don't want things to work, or people like, especially people who were born like way back in the day, they're conditioned to kind of like the whole role play, and you do this and I play this role, and there's not enough union. And there's women in particular, we want to express our individuality without feeling like, you know, we're like being controlled, or we have to obey to like some kind of master or something. We want to be able to be free and be in a relationship and just be our individual selves. And I feel like until that is expressed, and you know, I don't feel like or until we're allowed to express ourselves openly and we're listened to and we're taken care of, I don't really feel like relationships are going to last. I feel like people are going to start just having like humanoid sex dolls as their fucking partners, okay? Because that's where this culture is going. I mean, let's not even talk about have you seen the humanoid robots? Have you seen them? Their facial expressions, they'll be like looking all human, and the skin that they make. Listen, in the future, I could be sitting down talking to someone on a date thinking that it's a real person, it's a fucking robot. Like, I feel like that's where life is going, and I feel like that's another problem. Like, people are so used to like communicating online, or there's no social skills. But like I said, for people that are in relationships and they're happy and they're committed, you know, I really, you know, my heart, love, and everything goes out to you, because it's beautiful to find a connection, to find a union, and you know, but I just feel like people, it's harder now. It's harder now. Like I said, you know, sex sells, everybody's lustful. People just want to fuck. They don't want to commit, or they don't want a partnership, or they want to force someone to stay with them, or they don't want to embrace somebody's destiny, or people are not getting together on common interests, I feel. And like I said, the communication issues, the lust issues, the inner wound issues, like I feel like self-love is something that people need to have so that they can coexist with somebody else. But that is just my opinion. Okay, I've got so much more that I want to talk about, but I'll save it for another video because I've been speaking for like 50 minutes now. Yeah, that's like a long time. Okay, but thank you so much. But you know, do you agree? Why do you feel like relationships don't last? Again, I've got so much more to say, but I've just been rambling on. So I might make a part 2, but I just feel like, you know, I feel like love is lost, and I feel like people are looking for love and happiness, and there's not enough people offering it. And happiness is different to different people, and yeah, you know, the attention span of people in this day and age is so slow because of the programming, the frequencies, the radiation, the Wi-Fi, everything. It's like people are losing the ability to be able to commit to anything because everything is so fast paced. So it's like when it comes to committing to someone, it's like, oh, why would I want to do that? You know, when things in this day and age is so replaceable, and you know, it's just yeah, it's sad, man. But or maybe it's just that's just why I'm single. Okay, I don't know, people don't treat me right, people are crazy. But I just feel like relationships in general, because I do know like quite a few people that they're like single, and it's like, you know, but everyone's like afraid to date, and it's just like, okay, what is happening here, you know? But anyway, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you know, am I just the only person, like, you know, do people feel like the chivalry is dying out? It's not like how it was in the 90s where everyone's in love and somebody will like make an effort to kind of get you and win you back and be so romantic, or just court you, or you know, you go on one date with a guy and he's telling you that like you're gonna have wife and kids or something, or you go on one date with a guy and he's trying to fuck, or you know what I mean? It's just like, why are we not having a conversation? Like, what is happening here? You know what I mean? Do you? I don't know. But let me go now because I'm starting to get a headache. So yeah. But that was that. If there's any other topics you guys like me to talk about, you know, you can let me know in the comment section. But yeah, I've got a few topics in mind, but it's just however I feel, because this hay fever is just not doing me any justice, darling. But okay, but thank you so much. Oh my god, I just look terrible, but it is what it is, people. Goodbye.